Hey, YouTubers, Tazman here, bringing you kind of my outlook on the stuff that's going on in the world today as far as Dungeons and Dragons goes. Um, so I wasn't even gonna make this video, but then I got to thinking, I have an opinion, or I have some thoughts on it. Uh, but I kind of felt like everyone is just trying to jump on this OGL tag. Uh, I've seen people that do Pathfinder videos and stuff, and they're jumping on it just for the clicks and stuff. And yeah, the clicks are nice. I will admit that, and maybe getting more subscribers would definitely be a bonus to this. But ultimately, I just want to kind of get my thoughts out there and share them with you guys. So obviously, the new OGL 1.1 for Dungeons and Dragons that they're looking to implement is not an OGL at all. It's not an open gaming license. I'm sure all you already know what an open gaming license is and knows what it entails, because I'm sure you've seen like 90,000 other videos on it. But for those of you that don't know, the OGL is basically what allows third-party content creators, video games, and all that stuff to have the ability to actually make stuff using the D&D rule set and a subset of classes, or actually I think it actually contains all the classes, but a subset of spells and monsters and stuff like that. They're allowed to use those. There are some things in the OGL that aren't allowed. For example, mind flayers are a copyright thing. Now, this doesn't mean a user or a content creator couldn't actually use the concept of the mind flayer, eating brains and stuff. They just can't call it a mind flayer. The name mind flayer is taken or copyrighted. The one thing, doing all the studying, because as you guys might know, when I look into something, I try and find out as much as I can before I actually share information on it. I want to, kind of have a deeper understanding, which is kind of why my JavaScript, learn JavaScript using Foundry VTT video is kind of on hiatus, although I think maybe next week or the next week I will bring that back. But here's the thing about that. Well, not about that, about the OGL and stuff. I've been doing lots of research, going to websites, looking up, what the actual law is, and ultimately the biggest thing that's negative about the OGL, well, there's a lot of things, is that they want to eliminate the original license, the OGL 1.0A, I believe it was, which is what everyone's creating 5e content with right now. And if that goes away, that means no longer can, Solasta can no longer actually make Solasta without special permission. Under the new OGL, they can. However, like I said, it's not an OGL. Open gaming license means you're open to create your content and use this subset of information and stuff without worrying about having to, go through Wizards of the Coast, go through Hasbro. You can just basically do it. So anyway, under the new OGL, basically they could still do it. However, it's very, very restrictive and very, very closed. So for one of the things is that Wizard of the Coast, or Hasbro, is saying that, for using the new OGL 1.1, basically anything you create is ours. You can make money on it until we decide to revoke your license, but we still get to keep your content, and we can actually still publish it as our own content and make money on it. Whereas once we do that, you can no longer make money on your own stuff. Really sounds like a ripoff, right? And it really is. The second thing is that they have it in there saying that if you make $50,000 with your content, that you have to report it to Wizards of the Coast. And then I don't know why I'm drawing a blank. I can't remember if it was 175 or 75,000. No, I think it was $175,000 or something like that. Then Wizard wants a chunk of it. I'm going to pretend it's 175. I think that's what it was, but now I'm totally drawing a blank on the numbers. I have too many numbers in my head. But anyway, so if we say $175,000 is their cap, where now we are going to tap into your royalties. However, they don't just want, a small amount. They want a quarter of what you're making. So let's say you're a Kickstarter. You haven't really made your product, but you want to make a product. You have a Kickstarter goal of 200,000, because that's a nice, easy number to use for this. If you get that 200,000 and you start making your product, right there, you basically owe $50,000 to Wizard of the Coast. So if you don't adjust your Kickstarter goal to also include that 25%, now technically, if you just made the 200 exactly, and Wizard takes the 50, you only get 175. So now you're under budget of what you were planning. So yeah, it's kind of negative. Now, I have two thoughts as to what this actually is, because obviously this is not an open gaming license. It's very, very restrictive and very negative for developers, period. I mean, if they were to actually go through with this, my guess would be that, developers would stop doing any development for 5e or for oned&d, D&D 6. We all know what's that. And video content creators would stop because they don't want to have to pay. So it's kind of shooting themselves in the foot, where their fan base is going to go down the toilet and no one's going to want to do anything. Now, this isn't to say that someone could come up and actually make a D&D 2.0. They can't call it that, of course. They'd have to call it something else. Dragons and Dungeons, huh? I guess that's still D&D, though. But if they didn't use the acronym, they could use that. As from what I've read, is you can't actually copyright game mechanics. And as I understand that, things like saying the D20 roll, disadvantage, advantage, that can't necessarily be copyrighted. However, things that are part of your game, the more detailed things like the mind flayer and stuff, those can be copyrighted. Now, there's kind of a fine line between what can actually be and what can be classified as game mechanics and what isn't. And I don't know enough stuff about that to understand that fully. But, if someone did come along, you could take a lot of the D&D stuff that's game mechanics and take and run with that, because that can't be copyrighted. However, once again, it's very subjective of what is actually considered game mechanics and what is considered intellectual property or whatever that you can copyright. See, I'm trying to use these big lawyer words that I read. I don't know if I'm using them right because I'm not a lawyer. I'm a computer systems administrator. So anyway, my thoughts on this is, one, they say it's a leak. I almost feel as if Wizards wanted this to come out as kind of a psychological, maybe not psychological is the best word, but as kind of a test. Let's try and use a D&D type of example. Let's say that if we were in a real D&D world or real setting like that, let's say that I was your master and you were my servant, and all of a sudden I decided to beat you 10 times every single night with a club. Not to death, but, make you hurt. And I do that for a whole month, right? That really sucks. and you probably really hate life while I'm doing that. But then I give you the option. I say, hey, you know what? Instead of beating you 10 times every single night, how about I only beat you 5 times every other night? So now all of a sudden, the 5 times sounds a lot better than 10 times every night. It's still really restrictive. It's really painful, but it's a little less. And this is kind of a strategy lots of marketing places use is, if you're really paying attention, some sites that have sales and stuff, you'll actually see like a month or so before, they'll actually raise their prices up so that when they do the sell, it's just coming down. So they'll raise the prices like 20% and then they'll have a sell for 10%. So ultimately you're still paying more, but psychologically, hey, I'm saving money. And so people kind of go for that. And that's one of the things I kind of feel like they're doing, because one, they're claiming this is open gaming license, and it's not in any shape, way, or form is this open. It's very closed. They can terminate your license if they grant you a license. They can terminate it just with a 30-day notice. There's absolutely nothing you can do. Anything you created under that license is their property. But as you can see with that little analogy I gave you, if I came right out and says, hey, would you mind if I beat you 5 times every other night for the rest of your life? You're going to say, no, I don't think so. But if I just start beating you 10 times every single night for the rest of your life, all of a sudden that 5 times sounds like it's doable. And I kind of almost feel like that's what their kind of goal is here, is it wasn't necessarily a leak on accident. It was more of a leak on purpose, to really make the community think, oh my gosh, I can't believe they're doing this. That way, when they release one that says, hey, we're gonna change it, instead of 175,000 or whatever, we're changing it to 50. It'll only be a 20% instead of 25. All of a sudden it sounds good. Whereas if they said that right out and went with that, it would be a very negative thing. No one would like it. Everyone would complain. But now, because we've had this mindset that everything is as terrible as it is, it might be better. The other thing in the OGL with that 175 cap is, it's not a set cap. They can, part of the reason they want to know when you make $50,000 or more is so they can gauge and say, oh yeah, we've got 50 creators here that are making $50,000 or more. We're going to lower that 175 down to, maybe 75. So now we have a bigger slice of pie that we're making money. Ultimately, it's just a money grubbing scheme, and it's I don't know what to say. For me, I don't think it's going to affect me directly, other than if you think about it, if there's books like Kobold Press or something like that, and now they're releasing books for the 1.1 OGL, they're going to have to make up that 75% somewhere, and they're not going to take it out of their own pockets. They're probably going to raise their price of their books. So ultimately, yes, it's going to be trickled down, but it's going to affect us all. As a YouTube creator, I don't know that it's really going to affect me much at all, other than, my Foundry videos, instead of focusing on D&D, maybe go to Pathfinder. I don't know what's going to happen with Pathfinder with it. They're using the 3.5 OGL. I don't know if that's going away as well, or if it can, or if there's verbiage in its license agreement that says it can't. However, then it gets down to the point of what in Pathfinder would be considered from the original OGL. I don't know what you could actually, I don't know if you could say the 6 stats of, strength, dexterity, constitution, intelligence, wisdoms, and charisma, if that can actually be considered something that they can copyright. Because boatloads of games that aren't even D&D specific, I mean, WoW has, I think, those same attributes, or at least most of them. I know they have intelligence, strength, I don't know if they have charisma. But anyway, uh, it's going to be interesting what their true intent is and what we actually end up seeing. I really personally think that there's no way on earth they think that they're going to be able to thrive making D&D products and have this OGL 1.1. Personally, I do think that it's more along the lines of they're doing this thing where they're beating us 10 times every night, but then they're going to offer 5 times every other night. And that will definitely sound better after worrying about this 10 times every night. So I think that's pretty much my 2 cents on this. Is it sucks, and I really don't think that they ever thought that 1.1 is going to be valid, but I do think that it is something to make a 1.2 that is still very, very restrictive seem a lot better. Ultimately, if they end up doing something like this, where I was saying they shoot themselves in the foot, I have a D&D Beyond subscription, you know, the Masters, what is it, like $6 a month? Not that bad, but I have every single one of the D&D books on my D&D Beyond subscription. I won't be getting those anymore, and I'll try and find something else to do. Like I said, I'll move to Pathfinder, or, you know, if someone makes some kind of open D&D, or, you know, whatever its name ends up being. So to make more people aware of this, definitely, you know, share the video, share other videos that people have made on this. I will try and remember, I believe there's a URL, I think it's opendnd.games. I wish I would have had that open on my screen or something. But anyway, there's their letter type thing. I don't know what it's actually going to do. You know, you send that to D&D, that's whatever. But maybe they'll also see that, yes, this has got the community in an uproar, which might be exactly what they want, so that they can release a little bit less restrictive but still restrictive license idea. Also, trending on Twitter and stuff, if you're in Twitter, if you want to share, do the hashtag OpenDND. It's definitely trending a lot, and a lot of people are saying stuff about it, and helps you follow what's going on. So I think I'm going to end the video here because I kind of ran out of things to say. I think I covered what I wanted to cover and kind of give my opinion. I think personally it's more of a strategy they're using by having this leak and stuff, but I don't know for sure. But thanks guys for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, be sure to leave a thumbs up down below. Aside from that, comment, like, and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter. Check out my Discord and my other channels, and don't forget click the little notification bell. I always forget to say that. Tell other people about my channel. Share this video, share my other videos. If they like what they see, they can sub. We could grow the channel and everything will be awesome. So that is it, my friends. Until next time, I'll be seeing you later. Bye.